Hey guys, it's Alex from Shuffle Up here, and today we have another OP04 deck list for you. And this one is what I think is going to be top of the meta for this early period of the OP04. And it is Katakuri. Alright, let's get into this deck list. Okay, so let's first get started by talking about the leader, Charlotte Katakuri. We know this from OP03. He's still the same old Katakuri. Put one dot on him, he attacks for an extra 1000 power. 7k hit almost every time you use his ability. And his ability is you can look at the top of your life or the top of your opponent's life. Now OP03, you probably were checking your opponent's life every now and then, but now it's primarily going to be used for checking your own life and stacking your life because we have more triggers now. We have more of this awesome yellow goodness that you want to try and filter out on your deck. You want to stack your triggers in the way that's going to be best for you to use them. So if you see your Thunderbolts early, put them at the bottom. Leave them there as a surprise for your opponent later on when they're trying to swing for game. It's a really good card now that we have the yellow support to back it up. Let's start looking into the actual deck. Let's start off with the lower numbers. Let's go with the 1-drops. We're still playing the 4 Charlotte Pudding, which is a awesome searcher. It gets you any Big Mom Pirates, and we play a lot of Big Mom Pirates in this deck. And it also is a 2k stat line. Sometimes you can put 3 Don on it and swing. Also 1000 counter. So very good searcher. We play 3 of the Strucin. It's now optional to play Strucin. I still like him because sometimes against the law, he can be very cool. His ability to trash a trigger card from your hand and then get rid of a 1 cost or less can be very useful in the law matchup when they're trying to build their board so they can shambles. But it's not necessary to play this anymore. I do like having extra 2k counters, so I play more 2k counters in my build because I like to keep the opponent guessing whether they have game or not, and that's just how I like to play this game. We also, talking about 2k counters, play the Sanji still. Nami's still around. Don't forget, like, just because everyone's excited about the new decks like Dofi, Film, and the new Rebecca, don't think that Nami hasn't disappeared. In fact, Nami's back and stronger than ever. So having cards like this that can take your own life, because they're not going to take your life for you. You need to take your own life. This is why we play the 2k counter Sanji, because you play it, put 2 Don on it, which makes it a 5k, swing at life, and also pick up a card from your life and then put a card from the top of your deck onto your life. So you're able to start getting free draws out of your life, which is very important. Good to play. I'm only literally only playing it in case there's an army player at my locals. Judge your locals before you start building your deck. If you don't think there's going to be an army player, it's probably not worth playing it, and you can put something else in its place, like another 8-drop Katakuri, for example. We play Charlotte Brûlée at 3. Still a great trigger. It's free. You don't have to trash anything from your hand to play it. You just get to play it. And it's a blocker. It's really good as a trigger, and it's a 1k counter in your hand if you need a 1k counter. It can sometimes really mess up your opponent's tempo just 1k'ing out of their 5k swing. So very good card. I don't know why people are taking Brûlée out. Brûlée is still good, but I play it at 3 only because and we need to make space for other cards in this deck that are really good. And talking about really good, one of the best triggers in the game, my boy, Captain Carbone Gang Bedge. He is one of the best triggers in the game. His trigger is up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters cannot attack during the turn. Put that at the bottom of your life, so when they go for the game, you can just end them, because they're probably going to calculate the game. They're going to need those exact attacks. This is leader or character, and when they're going for that last swing for life, they won't have it because this was at the bottom of your deck. You triggered as you planned. So if you see this in your Katakuri swings, put it straight to the bottom. It's really good. 2k counter as well, so when it's not in your trigger, it's a 2k counter. It's awesome. It's like a really good card, and I don't see me playing any less than 4 of that. That is a good card. Yellow is so strong this format. It's going to be so good. Charlotte Perisbero, still a beast. 3k, 5k stat line is so good. And on KO get a Big Mom from your deck. Usually going to get a Big Mom off this. All your cards are Big Mom. So you look at the top 3 cards and pick one of them, and then if it's a Big Mom, put it in your hand and put the rest in the bottom of your deck. You play it, you pressure, your opponent has to get rid of it because you're putting pressure, and then when you lose it, you +1. So it's one of the best resource efficient cards that yellow has access to. More 2k counters, because we love our 2k counters. This one is Charlotte Monday, which is a new card from the new OP04, and it's also going to activate a main ability when you play it. Once per turn, you can trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand, and then rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. You're never usually playing it for that ability, but it sometimes comes in handy when you're trying to clear a law board. So we definitely play this at the 4, and it's a good 2k counter stat line. So I think this card is controversial because like a lot of people are overhyping this, but it is definitely a play at 4. The new Sanji with the trigger where you can play it for free. Best stat line for a blocker, 4/5. And it's still really good in your hand as a 1k counter, or you can even play it for 4 and have a 5k blocker. Best blocker yellow has. Not as great as everyone's making it out to be, but it's definitely a must play at 4. Charlotte Smoothie, again, this is really just here for those Nami matchups or those matchups that they're not tackling your life. If your locals is not going to have a Nami player, then probably don't need to play this. Let's look at our Charlotte Cracker now. Charlotte Cracker is one of the greatest rush cards, but in this way the deck is being played with, we're going to like happily take life. So I don't see him being active as much because you're usually not going to have less life than your opponent. You're kind of going to end up, by the time you play him, your opponent will have less life than you. It's very interesting. He's not as live as he always is, but I do like to have him in case, and his trigger is still good. You get to play him for just trashing 1, and if he's on board, he's still present. So I play it at 1, but I've taken out the other 2 of him to play Shirahoshi at 2. Now Shirahoshi is actually, I'm beginning to love this more and more and more as we now have access to more good cards, good things. Drawing 3 and trashing 2, so fixing your hand and plussing 1, is actually really good, and it's actually going to allow you to fix your hands and get more big mums into your hands so you go for game earlier, which is such a great thing. And I'm thinking about playing it at 4 at this point because it's so good as a trigger. I sometimes would play it as a hard player, but it's just usually a 1k counter in my hand. We play 2 Charlotte Katakuri 6, 8k. Now, I don't actually use them as a counter. You really want to play this if you're only going to play 2. Some people play 4 and then you can use them as counter and play him, but I only play 2, so he is never going to be used as a counter. I'm only going to try and play it if I have it. 6/8 is a great stat line. He's a good hitter and he's searchable off any of the big mum searches, so really good. We play 3 of the structure deck Charlotte Linlin, best 7-drop player you can have in any Katakuri deck, so definitely not shying away from that. Some people are not going to play this in their new builds, but I think it's a must play. It's still the best thing you can drop on the 7 Don turn, and it allows you to basically put the ball in your opponent's court. Do they want to take their life or do they want to give you an extra life? Either way, it's big pluses for you. I only play 2 of Charlotte Katakuri at the moment. I'm thinking of pumping this number up. It was not so good in OP03, but I'm finding it to be really good now that we have other good triggers to have this ability to put things in the opponent's bottom life. So definitely one of your best cards to play for 8k drop, but I only play it at 2 because I don't like to see it in my hand too often or brick with it. This is a new card from OP04, Yamato. So pretty. Needed to get this in alt art because it is the best. Pulled one, bought one. The best alt art into this deck, and it's going to be really important that you guys pick this up now before Enel drops in OP05 because this is played at 4 in the Enel deck, and it's basically on play KO one of your opponents with a cost equal to how many dons are left on both. How many lives are left on both you and your opponent's life. So if you get it early and there hasn't been much don activity or movement, especially against Nami, this ends up KOing something big. Even if it doesn't KO it can KO something small. Even if you don't get its KO effect, there's still the other effect, which is if you have 1 or less life cards, you can get 1 card from the top of your deck and add it to your life. So you're getting an extra life of this card. It's so good, and the stat line 9 for 9 is still good, very decent. But the value is definitely if you play it early on as your first 9 drop, especially if you're going first, because you're not going to have access to Charlotte Linlin on that turn. If you're going second, you do have Charlotte Linlin on that Don turn, but most of the time you want to go first and get that aggro pressure. So you do have a 9-drop turn, and that's one of the best 9-drops to play, better than the Katakuri. 10-drop Charlotte Linlin. You want to get as many of these in your hands. You're searching for it. You just keep playing it, and then you win the game. It's so stupid that this is still at 4, and all the Whitebeard stuff it has been hit. This is just as oppressive to me as having Edward Newgates. In fact, probably more oppressive than Edward Newgates. If you have multiple in your hand and you play 1, 2, or even 3 back-to-back turns, you've won the game just because you played those. And the big stat lines, 12Ks for 10. It's such a great card. So on play, you add up to 1 card from your top of your deck to your life, and then you take 1 from their life and trash it. It's just like great. It's so good. There's no choice in this. You just +1 and they -1. And then it's 12k stat line. So best 10 drop in your Katakuri deck. And now we play 4 Thunderbolts. Now Thunderbolts I was against in OP03. Now they are the best card ever, especially when you're able to stack you're aiming to stack your life with all your triggers because you have way more triggers now. And you want to put this as well towards the bottom, similar to Gang Bedge, like just to oppress your opponent's turn of trying to swing. This is less effective, so you would rather Bedge at the bottom than this, but basically the trigger is KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less, and that's amazing. And its ability as well, where you may trash one card from the top of your life and KO opponent monster 5 or less, is still good as well. Like sometimes it can be the difference between winning or losing, especially if you're trying to get rid of a blocker that's being persistent, like a Trafalgar Law or something like that. And that's the deck list, guys. It's very simple. It's a very easy deck to play, actually. If you give it a go, you might find it to be something that's much more easier than you could have ever actually imagined. I remember when I first looked at Yellow, I'm like, this life stuff is too complicated. But when you actually get into it and start playing it, this is one of the simplest decks of this format. It's really just a sleep deck, like you just ZZZ, and then as they play and hit your life, you're getting resources and winning just because they're attacking you. It's completely absurd, but it's one of the greatest ways to play the game right now. And in this early meta where people are trying to find the best mid-range deck, this deck is actually both aggro and mid-range and control-y at the same time. It has a bit of everything, and it's all value, but it's a bit of a gamble as well. So this deck is all about your triggers in your life. You do get to stack some triggers and add things to your life through abilities, but if you don't get lucky on your triggers, it can sometimes be a very boring and bad game. It does happen sometimes, but now that we have more triggers in the OP04 format, it's much less that you have dead life, and you can usually get triggers from your life, which is amazing.
And you know we weren't going to finish this video without doing a quick gameplay of Katakuri, and we're up against one of the biggest baddies in the format. It is the Strawbeard himself, and this is one of your harder matchups that we thought we'd mulligan into something a little bit quicker just to be able to get that aggro early on. It's really the only way that Katakuri can really put that pressure on Whitebeard. They have to play a bit more defensive, and then they start making errors and misplays because of that. And when you factor in your triggers in your life, they can actually end up helping you to win a game against the oppressive Strawbeard. Something about a 6k leader, it doesn't seem fair, especially with the 6 life. It's like, people thought it was a troll leader, but it is definitely so strong. I force him to go first, which is also very important. You don't want him to get that extra card, especially how close these games can get. He drops the chopper, and we have to really just pass the turn because we have nothing to play on the 2-drop turn. He's down to 5 life. I will probably play the Perez Barrow next turn, and that will probably give me a bit of pressure, 5k on the board. I might not be able to swing with him first time I play him because, again, you need to have 6k. Oh, what a trigger. That is so good. Gonna play that, trashing the extra Katakuri 8-drop I had in my hand. He only plays a Sanji, swings, and that's not even that bad. I get to drop the Perisper as planned and go for life. Checking the top of my deck, putting it at the bottom, and he can either counter out of it or block. But this is the only tech I'm going to be able to feed through. It's just so hard dealing with a 6k leader, like, especially early on. It's actually such a great leader. Whitebeard's still strong, no matter what. Yeah, you can ban all the Whitebeard cards you want, but the leader itself, being 6k, is so strong. Okay, I'm thinking, what are we going to do? What's the gameplay? Do we even drop this Katakuri in this game? Do we need it? Because, like, giving him extra life doesn't seem like a great idea. He's got a loaded hand as well. He swings, just a 6k. It's pretty effective. I'm just going to 2k out of it. One good thing about this Katakuri deck is some of the best 2k counters. Oh, he plays the Rush Luffy's on curve. 6k again. I'm going to have to take it. Oh, got a Charlotte Smoothie off the top. We're going to ditch the Brulee for the Smoothie. Smoothie is really... Like, I only played the 1 or 2 of, I think, in this deck, and it is there just to apply pressure in the Whitebeard matchup because it is actually very strong and very mana effective. Okay, so we're going to view top life. Lin. Nice. That's actually really good for us, especially if we're going to use the Smoothie ability to ramp up extra damage. I can play the Sanji blocker, but I'd rather have it in hand as counter. Since we're not playing, I've decided from the beginning of this game to not go defensive and just go full aggro. So we're going to play it out as I plan, just drop 6k hits, get some cards out of his hands. We could have even pumped it up to 7k, but I just want to put all my Don on Charlotte Smoothie to hopefully deal with that Luffy, because that Luffy on the board will ruin us. So 6k again, let's try and get another counter out of his hand if possible. Yes, got one. Okay. That makes it much harder for him to be able to protect Luffy against, what's it, 8k plus... So that's 10k, I think? 8k. Plus 2 is going to be 10k, yes. Alright, and then we get the Lin Lin in hand for next turn, which is the really good turn 4 play. Turn 5, yeah, turn 4 play. Okay, I think we're in a pretty good place right now. We got some counters in our hands. We've got the Lin Lin, and all we have is Sanji, and he's got 3 life left. Though it's very deceiving. He's only got 5 cards in hand, but that will bounce up really quickly. Just because he can take his own life at the end of turn. I've got 2 life left. I think I know what's in both of them now. I can't remember though. Yeah, the chat thing doesn't actually keep a record of what you saw in the top of your life. I wish it did. That'd be awesome. He drops an army. He's going searching to see what he pulls off the top. God, Strawbeard is so good. The better captain for the Straw Hats is definitely Whitebeard. And he's trying to choose. Taking his time. He must have some really good options in his hands. Ah, he gets the Monkey to Luffy rush. Oh my god. This is a game, guys. This is a game. Oh, this is going to be really good for the showcase. Yeah, he's got pretty good rush Monkey in hand right now, so if we don't deal with his life quickly, he's going to probably take control of the game and just swing with the unblockable Luffy. Even if we get the Brûlée off the top, it's just not going to help us. Do I drop... If he drops the Luffy, do I put it to the top using Katakuri? That's the question. It gives him another turn. Oh, he's donning up. Oh, that's a big don up. 9k in too much. I cannot defend that. It's a waste of counters if I do. Gonna have to let that go. Smoothie is so good and such good early pressure, but it's not worth dumping all the counters. Oh, chopper blocks. Oh, Sanji. Okay. So he's got 2k plus power, plus he's added 2 Don to it. So it's right now like a 7k. That's huge. I can probably count out of one of these, maybe with an 8k. Yeah. To say, oh, okay, he's smart. He's using it. He wants the category. Yeah, he wants the Perispero gone. We get nothing off the top. Can get another Charlotte Katakuri, but maybe the Searcher might be useful. It's also counter power, so if I don't need to use it as a search, it's still 1000. Though probably, looking back, I should have probably gotten the Charlotte Amande. We do the 7. We want him to either give us a life, which would be great. We can cruise through this game if he does that. Or if he's feeling risky, he'll probably take that life if he feels like he has all the cards he needs in his hand. And it'd be scary if he does take his life, because that means he does have all the cards he needs in his hands. Like, he's probably got the counters for days. And the Luffy. What he does here is going to make me decide whether I go for his life and fall for the... Yeah, he's confident. Okay. So he's going to probably expect us to go for life and whiff. And I don't think we do that. I think we clear his board, bring him down. He probably thinks he has lethal. And that's not going to help us if we fall into his trap and then he just counters out of our damage and swings us for game the turn after. So we're going to try and bring down that board number just a little bit more. He drops 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that was his plan, to keep the Sanji on board. He's definitely got game in hand. We're not going to fall for it. We're going to put more pressure on that Sanji. I'm not going to play the Charlotte pudding anymore. I'm going to just... I already know what's on top. It's the Big Mama, but we're just going to try and clear something off his board. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. He thinks he's got game. This is scary. He's blocked a full swing to... If he doesn't get game this turn, then that allows us to come back at him next turn, hopefully. He did get rid of one of his blockers. He's only got 4 cards in hand. He trashed one of his cards from life, which is a high risk maneuver. Okay, he's got 7. That's big, but we've got counters, so... we'll probably go 2k, 1k, and then stop there. And then he'll probably try and pump up his Sanji, and we can probably get out of the Sanji. No, yes we can, because he doesn't have any life, so he can't pump the Sanji up too much. He can only give it if there's if he's only got 8 Don left, he can only pump the Sanji up. Oh, he's putting 3 Don on the Nami, 5k swing. Oh, he's feeling confident. We're just going to 1k out of that. We've still got one more 1k counter, but I think this... Oh, yep, there you go. He's got 2 more attacks, but that's not enough for game. We'll probably just let him swing at us. Oh, no, he doesn't even have 2 attacks. It cost him... Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. That's it for us, guys. We've won it.
Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been Alex from Shuffle Up. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys want to see in my next video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Only 5% of the viewers are currently subscribed. So hit that subscribe button and support the channel and help me to make more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys in my next video.